Good morning and welcome to Falls from Iron on this fine October the 1st. This year is absolutely whizzing by, I'm telling you now. But those of you that are watching either live or at your own leisure, please don't forget to like, comment on and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit the bell notification for alerts on new content. As always, guys, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. We are here to discuss the goings-on later on this evening, 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday, quite unusual, where we face Wolverhampton Wanderers in match 8 of the Premier League. Duke, your thoughts?
I'm not quite sure you're going to want to know my thoughts, sir, on this.
Well,
because I know there are some people out there, popular people out there.
Not me, then.
Neither of us, to be honest with you. That's why we're still hovering around 1,300 subscribers. There are certain people out there, popular people within the West Ham community, that are making points or their point clear that they don't like the negativity surrounding some of the YouTube channels. They don't like the negativity surrounding David Moyes, the formation, the team, the poor results and everything else. And I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah.
Because, if it's all you're hearing, then it is going to grate slightly. I get that. But we're here to put our points across. We're here to have our opinions. Whether or not everyone likes those opinions, then so be it. Whether or not everyone agrees with those opinions, then so be it. But we're still here to put our opinions across. I've just come off of watching a video from a couple of days ago by some friends, and they don't agree that we're in a relegation battle.
Okay.
I hate to disagree,
but the
form, yeah, without a doubt, the form we are playing currently, Rob, is relegation form.
It's been relegation form for a long time before this season started. To be there,
two wins in 14 Premier League games, 9 defeats in those 14 Premier League games, and 30.
Is it 33 points you worked out?
34 points out of a possible. No, 34 points out of 30. I want to say 38 games. Well,
sounds about right.
That's relegation, Rob.
Yeah,
that's relegation. Massively. I don't care whether people want to disagree or not. The facts are sat there in front of me. It's on paper, right in front of me, and you can't argue with those comments. That statement that is relegation. We got relegated with the most points in the Premier League, which was over 40. So don't tell me that this isn't relegation. It's a relegation situation. I don't care. Now we're in a situation where we have a manager on two fronts, actually, two managers, one of the national team in Gareth Southgate and one of my club team in David Moyes. Both are very stubborn. Both are very pig-headed.
Yeah.
Definition of insanity, Rob?
Doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome, sir.
Then I do believe Mr. Moyes and Mr. Southgate are both suffering from insanity. Because it's not...
Then for the men in white coats.
It clearly isn't working. Declan Rice and Thomas Souček, if we persist with what we've been doing, isn't working. Declan Rice is a fantastic box-to-box midfielder. He's great at breaking forward. We've seen this. Unfortunately, Thomas Souček cannot do the job that Declan Rice did 2 years ago. because he doesn't have the technical ability. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he doesn't have the technical ability to do what Declan Rice did. Yet, what we continue to do is we persevere with this. We continue to persevere with what I termed the Declan Rice experiment. If you remember 18 months ago, it's exactly what I used. The words I used. We persevere with this. We expect a different outcome. Well, unless you've coached Thomas Souček to within an inch of his life in training on how to fucking pass the ball forward more than 4 yards, if you have trained Thomas Souček to be able to defend and break up play, then it isn't going to change. Nothing. That isn't going to be a different outcome, regardless of who we play. Thomas Souček isn't right this season. I don't know what it is. For me, the fact that David Moyes can't see that, Declan Rice can't. Sorry, red trotches. The fact that David Moyes cannot see that and perseveres with that, rather than going, okay, well, listen, the better option there is to revert and tell Declan Rice that he's not going to be the forward player out of the two anymore, or telling Thomas Souček, okay, saying you dropped and Flynn Downs is coming in, then you're doing the same thing over and over again. You know, Nick, comment earlier in the chat, Perkins, Alessi, and now Harris Ashby.
Yeah.
It's the insistence of not giving the youth a chance. You know, we've all had the comments that we all believe Harrison Ashby is first team ready. Yet we continue to persevere with a very out of sorts Soufal. If you're not going to change things, then exactly. You know, if you're not going to change things, then things aren't going to change. It's that simple. If you aren't going to change what you're doing and your preparation and your build-up and your formation and your tactics, your results aren't going to change. We might get lucky when we come up against Fulham. Go on.
I was going to say, I've got another saying for you. There's a guy that comes into my place of work. He's like a motivational speaker guru. He has all sorts of really, really good guy. His name's John Bullock. So I've just given you a plug there, John. And he turns around and he uses the saying that if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. That pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
There is. It does. It does. And as
do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got.
Thing. If you play negative football, you're going to get negative results. And unfortunately, that's what we've been doing. Hi, Doug. Got your name right. That's what we've been doing. It's negative football, Rob. It really is negative football. And we now no longer have the negative players. We don't have. It's difficult. We don't have we have a Lucas Paqueta who is very much, let's be honest, it's a Dimitri Payet-esque player, right? I'm not comparing him to Dimitri Payet. Please don't fire shit at me in the chat.
Yep.
He's a Dimitri Payet-esque player. He's a flair player. He is a. I've had a habit of in the past of calling them luxury players, Rob. You know, for me, I thought Fornals was going to be a luxury player when we bought him. I've discussed this a few times. That he's a player that, you know, during the under-21 Euros was that player, wasn't he? It was an amazing, the goals, the flair and everything else. He was a brilliant player. Well,
he's been moisified.
Brought graft. Yes, he's brought grit, graft and determination into his game. I don't want that with Paqueta. I want Paqueta being a free spirit. I want to just go, Paqueta, out you go, son. I'm going to stick you in the game. You don't have a job. You go do you. You go do what you do best. Off you go, boy, and away you go.
He did the same with Ben Rama.
Yeah, I know.
You know, he's got a player in, and all right. No, listen, I mean, you know, he got a player in that was ripping it up. All right, in the Championship, but he brought him in on the basis of his performances in the Championship, scoring goals, getting assists, looking $1 million, and he's turned him into a player that's a shadow of that player. Now, I know he's moved from the Championship to the Premier League, so I get that there's going to be, there's going to be a little bit of bedding in and all the rest of it. But this season, I think that Benrahma's been, when he started, I actually think he's been one of our better players. Now, I know there's been a couple of performances within that, Duke, and you will counter with that, I know. So I'll concede that point. There have been a few occasions this season where he's not looked great, but he has had games where he's influenced things positively. And what's more he's done? He's put you on the bench the next game, and he never does that with Souček, never does that with Bowen, never does that with Kufal. Yet Benrahma, he's the low-hanging fruit. He's the sacrificial lamb every single time. And it seems that he's rotated the confidence out of him to me.
Yeah, listen. I'm a man that can be open on this one, Rob. Now, for me, I don't think Benrahma is consistently good enough. Whether that's a confidence thing or what, I don't know, right? But when he has played, he has a good game, he has a bad game. Well, if he has a bad game, then yes, he deserves to be hauled off. Problem is, when there are too many players having bad games that are not being dealt with. Souček, Declan Rice has not been his fantastic, awesome self. I don't know. Listen, I'm not gonna spread rumours or start gossip because I don't know the truth. What's going on in that changing room? I can have my opinions on it. I tell you what I need to do though, or what we need to do as a team is we need to mix things up. I know how I'd like to mix things up. I'm going to have a little butchers at your team in a moment. Yep. And you're going to give me your reasons why, and then I'm going to tell you you're wrong.
Well, do you know,
You've frozen on me. What's going on? There you are.
I've frozen on you. Okay, fair enough. Right. Okay, I'm going to get now.
Your screen's frozen, but you're still talking.
Okay, fair enough. Well, my screen's moving my end, so I don't know if the viewers can see something different to you or I don't know. Anyway, so I've done something a little bit different because normally I try to put myself in the shoes of David Moyes. To be honest, I'm kind of the mind of like, do you know what? I don't know anymore because I just don't know what he's seeing that has led to him keep picking the same players in the same positions again and again and again. And I'm looking and going, he's out of form. What are you doing? So I'm actually, this is actually more what I would put out, if I'm being honest. Whether it's what Mr. Moyes goes with when the team sheets were announced, I don't know. But that is what his internet's dicked around because he's just dropped out. So he's left me to it. Okay, right. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, you guys in the live chat, as I say, this is my 11. This is my starting 11. This is my formation. Whether it's what David Moyes goes with remains to be seen. We'll find out at 4:30 this afternoon. Let me just go full screen with that and get rid of my ugly mug. So I've turned around, I believe. Hang on. You're there. It's all right. I've gone full screen with that. So, this is what I would put out. Now, the goalkeeper, to be honest, I could go Areola, but I'm probably going to stick with Fabianski on this occasion. There's not really too much to choose between them, in my opinion. Pays your money, takes your choice. Fabianski, probably, I think, is marginally the better shot stopper, but I would say that Areola obviously has the advantage in terms of the distribution. So, whatever. Anyway, I would move Thilo Kehrer to right back, and I would bring Craig Dawson in alongside Kurt Zouma. I think that Craig Dawson, his leadership skills, his organisational abilities, and his danger that he can pose when we have set pieces could be absolutely critical in this game. At left back, I would have Aaron Cresswell. I think he is the better defender out of him and Emerson, in my opinion. Yes, I know his pace is on the wane. I know he gets caught out of position, but we need to set up in a way that, as much as possible, negates that deficiency in his game. So I think he can still do a job there. Fundamentally, I want defenders. Their primary job is to defend. And if he is the better defender out of him and Emerson, he gets in. The only thing I would say is that if he was fit to play 90 minutes, I would be tempted to put Ben Johnson there. But I'll go with Cresswell. I would then go with a midfield three, and I would have Flynn Downs at the base. Yes, I would drop Thomas Souček, definitely. I would have Flynn Downs holding, and I would have Declan Rice and Lucas Paqueta as the central mids, and I would then have a front three of Cornet left, Ben Rama right, and Gianluca Scamacca through the middle. Now, you can then introduce as impact substitutes, round about the 60th minute thereabouts, boom, stick on Antonio, boom, stick on Bowen, and tell them, right, get on there, make a pain to the opposition, cause chaos, and you put pressure on those three to possibly get in the starting lineup for the next game, whatever. But go out there and make an impact. You can also maybe utilise Thomas Souček in the later stages if you want, if we're chasing the game and you need to sort of like another aerial option, if you want to sort of change things up a little bit, whatever. But that is what I would pick. Over to you, Duke.
I can see it.
Oh, wrong one. No, that one. Get there in the end.
And we're live. I can see it. I don't agree with it, but I can see it. Now, the reason I don't agree with it is because, as I said earlier, I'd mix things up.
Just before you sort of say, when you say you don't agree with it, what, you don't agree that you would go with that, or you don't agree that you're going to see that from David Moyes?
Both.
Because I don't think I'm going to see it from David Moyes either. But that's what I would pick. Okay.
Now, what I would, me personally, I didn't see. I can't remember your goalkeeper, Rob. Was it Areola or have you gone Fab?
I've put Fabianski, but it's a close call.
Pay your money, take choice.
Yeah.
Said before. Your back four, completely agree with. Completely agree with. All out. Now, this is where I change. I don't have Downs playing that role.
Oh, really?
I have Declan Rice playing that role.
Do you?
Yes. And he stays fucking put. Don't care. I don't care the attitude. I don't care the desire from Declan Rice. I don't care. It's for the benefit of the team. It's not about an individual player. It's not about what a player wants. It's what the team needs. You stay put. Right. So with Downs not being there, that gives me an extra player. Okay. So then what I do is I play three in front of Declan Rice.
Okay.
So I actually have Cornet left. I actually play Bowen right. And I have Paqueta in the hole, if you will. Okay. Then what I do is I play Scamacca, and instead of Downs being where Downs is in your picture, I put Antonio. I put Antonio on the left side of a front two, and I put Scamacca on the right side of a front two. And what I actually play is I actually play a 4-1-3-2 is what I play. What that does is that now gives Scamacca that assistance up front.
Right.
Because it doesn't just have to come from Mikel Antonio, Rob. It can come from Maxwell Cornet. Okay? It can come from Jared Bowen, because what actually happens is if you have Antonio up there and he starts to drift out left, what Cornet can do is Cornet can move up front. What also can happen is Cornet can drift over to the right, which then allows Bowen to move into the second place up front alongside Scamacca. So what you actually do is you start to then rotate.
To interrupt, Duke. Sorry to interject.
What's going
on? Just looking here, Stephen, link has gone. Cannot watch the video. I don't understand. because we've got people watching as we
Still got
speak.
people chatting.
So I
Let us
don't know. Yeah, let us know, Stephen. We'll see what we can do. Anyway, sorry, Duke.
No, you're right. What happens is you then rotate your front four if you want. Okay, Pacata sits where he sits. He sits in the hole behind the front two. What actually you do there is you have the big Italian stallion there holding the ball up. He can roll the ball out from his boots, and he can ping a left or right, but foot shot. A bit like Ben Rama. If again, there's a way of mixing it up. You can bring Ben Rama in, but for me, a 4-1-3-2, it gives. You see, you've then got Cornet left attacking mid, which means he can also come in with the pace to help Aaron Cresswell, as we were discussing earlier. You mentioned about the fact that he doesn't have the pace. Well, what you can do is you can have. I wasn't raving. He is great at it, but he's better in a holding role when we need him to do so. Stop making me twist my words. So, bastard. So for me, that's the way I work it, Rob. 4-1-3-2. I'm sick and tired of seeing our lone strikers battle it out for 90 minutes against against the team that have it worked out. I'll tell you what, Rob. I'll give you the perfect example of this. Right, I'll give you the perfect example of this. Perfect example of it is we were talking to David Cross.
We were.
And we were talking to
Ray Stewart.
Thank you. I was thinking Tom McAllister. It was the other Scott.
Okay.
They both said about the Arsenal Cup final, Rob. They both said about was it who was the Arsenal player?
Willie Young.
Willie Young. They didn't have a clue because we did the 4-4-2 with Crossy and Pearson up front, and literally 10 minutes before the game, John Lyall went, we need Pancho, you're going to play in midfield. Crossy, you're going to be up front on your own. Yeah. Willie Young was like, what the fuck are we doing? And as they both said, he was shouting over to the touchline, what do you want us to do? Who does what here? Does one go with Pearson? Do we sit? I don't know how to play against this person here. What are we doing? I feel like a spare prick at a lesbian wedding at this point. That's You
have such a way with words. You're like a modern day Shakespeare. You
right? It's great. Now we need basically where we're at is that Arsenal team knew how to play against the West Ham team that were playing 4-4-2. And we screwed them over by John Lyall, absolute genius, by going, okay, Pancho, drop. He drops in, and then the Arsenal defence go to pot. They don't know what they're doing. Him. Who's doing what here? And it all goes absolutely Pete Tong. And we need to give these opponents something else to think about, Rob. They know what to do when we've got two up front, when we've got one up front. Right, they know what they're doing. They know that the best way to do it, okay, fuck it, they've got one striker. We'll bully him out of the game. We'll bully him.
Cheers, Black Metal. Appreciate it. Welcome.
Thank you. Next two comments. Thank you, boys. Thank you. We've been figured out.
Wait until he's had a few beers, Tom. Honestly, he opens later up on. Ridiculously, like a packet of crisps.
If we can go with 4-4-2, we give them something else to think about. If Antonio starts to pull wide, they're going to be going, okay, what am I doing now? Who am I going? Am I staying with Skamaka? Do I go with this guy? Especially if you will be, Cyber. Hang on a minute, Rob. Is it? All right. That's right, Joe's going. That door, top one's open. No, you're not Cyber. I don't know why you think you're barred. Someone else is and they're not happy, but that's neither in nor there. If Antonio plays on the right side of a front two, and then starts to drift over to the left, I'm very aware that my hands are going the wrong way, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Then the right-sided defender has got to go. Do I go with him over to the left? Do I now pass him over to my left centre-back, who goes with him, or my right centre-back for going that way? And then I shift over. What are we doing here? Questions then get asked. And then if Cornet comes in, well, is the left-back going with him? What are we doing here? Well, right-back, there's never any questions asked of the back line. I feel if we can go 2 up front, and just go to Paqueta, go do something, go do you, like we did with Dimitri Payet. Go be you, go have fun.
But that was under Slaven Bilic.
Couldn't care less, right? Because there,
no, I know, but it's a different.
There is what Cyber says. There is spot on, right? If we don't change things, if things are the same, and teams that are playing against us know exactly what's going to be happening,
I think you'll be on the bench, Cyber.
It's going to happen, right? Yeah. It will happen.
I think he's got 3 games. I know they've said 5. I think it's 3.
I think I'll be honest with you, Rob. If this is a defeat, a draw today will paper over the cracks and give him another game. I think if we lose today and we don't even look like we're in the game, I have a feeling tomorrow morning you and I will be doing a video that discusses who will be David Moyes' replacement.
Well, if let's contemplate that doomsday scenario that we lose today. Well, that would have been 2 consecutive games where we've played a direct rival. In that Everton last time out were just above us in the Premier League table, but they were within reach, and we lost. If we do it again against a team that currently finds themselves 1 place above us in the pecking order, 2 points. So if we win this, we go a point ahead. We jump above Wolves. But if they win, well, now they're 5 points ahead. So that's 2 consecutive games where we've played a team that's within striking distance, lost, and they've stretched out a lead over us. That's poor. You can't allow that to happen in consecutive games in the Premier League, because if you do that, you're in all sorts of trouble. And I know people will turn around and say, David Moyes, credit in the bank, last 2 seasons, all of which is true and all of which I get, but we're in the here and the now, and the Premier League doesn't have an awful lot in the way of patience. We're not in the 1970s when John Lyall was the manager of the Premier League, and time and patience are not commodities that are in ready supply. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. Every Premier League manager is 6 matches away from the sack. Every Premier League manager. I don't care if your name's Pep Guardiola. I don't care if your name's Jurgen Klopp. If those 2 managers were to go out in 6 consecutive Premier League games and get defeat, they're out. They're out. No question.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm seeing some comments come through, and I'm just going to touch. Cyber, he's coming nowhere near us, and there are going to be people that argue with you that he's a bottle job and don't want him. I just don't see him coming in. Andy, well, we're not seeing it. Let's not fuck around. Trudge, I'm in exactly the same ballpark as you, but I think if he goes today, or if we lose today, he goes. I don't want to see him sacked, as is your next comment. I don't want to see him sacked. I want him to learn. I want him to evolve. Jazz, I don't agree with that. I really don't. I don't think he's finished. I think he's fighting a battle right now. That battle could be over today. It could be over today. And then
should we have a quick butchers at the Wolves team, Duke? Because I'm obviously conscious.
Yeah,
sort of creeping away from us a little bit.
Yeah, and I've got to open the pub in a bit.
Okay, no worries.
Let's shit! You put him there.
What? Who?
Oh,
which one?
Huang.
Which one?
Huang He-chan, the one that I wanted.
I knew you'd hone in on him. Yeah, this is what I suspect they'll go with. Bruno, Lage, Sarr in goal. No real surprises. The back 4 pretty much picks itself. Nathan Collins got sent off against Manchester City in a 3-0 reverse. Up to that point, they'd had a really good defensive record. Oh yeah. There's no argument. That was probably worth 2 reds in new money. Back in the old days, probably would have been a talking to. But
I missed it, right? I shit you not, just quickly. I missed it. I didn't see what happened. And then someone went, "Here, look, watch this." And I looked up, and all I saw was him leaving 6 studs in the middle of his chest. And I was like, how have they got the gall? Because I saw people complaining about it. How have they got the gall to complain that was a red?
Yeah,
I'd like to point out.
red. Easy.
I mean, yes, you're right. Back in the 80s when we were talking to Ray Stewart, weren't we, and David Cross about the tackle on Paul Allen.
It'd have been a talking to.
Willie Young absolutely removed him from the game. And the referee goes, "Free kick, West Ham.
Yes.
Get on with it. Fuck off." And then there was that's the last man. Yeah. It's going to be 2-0 West Ham in the FA Cup final, and the referee gives a free kick. Doesn't even walk the fella.
Before they had the professional foul rule, wasn't it? But so like I say, back four is more or less picks itself. Nathan Collins isn't available, so Toti Gomez will come in, I suspect. It will be a midfield 3, the captain Neves. It will be Moutinho and Nunes either side of him. As Jazz alluded to, there's a strong Portuguese flavour in the Wolverhampton Wanderers team. Podence left, Neto right, and your mate Hwang through the middle. And I know you're a big fan of him. The bull, isn't he?
He is. I tell you, listen, we missed a trick twice, and I know neither player is tearing it up for their current club. Okay, neither of them.
Cheers, Steve. Appreciate it.
I believe we missed 2 tricks. One was Hwang Hee-chan.
Yep.
And the other one was Patson Daka. And now I know neither of them have set the world on fire at their current clubs, but I still stand by the fact that if we could have got the pair of them, or at least one of them, it would be a different prospect. I really do think they're great players. I mean, the pace of these players, if you play to their strengths, you're looking at a completely different player. Right now, the 2 teams that they're playing for aren't in the greatest of form. And not creating chances for either of these 2 players. I think Hwang Hee-chan and Patson Daka would be brilliant for us, and I'm looking forward to seeing either of those 2 teams look to sell both of them in January and us buying, to be honest. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, also, and just to touch on it, because Cyber did allude to it in the chat, there is a certain Diego Costa that's very likely to be involved. I suspect he won't start. I suspect he will be introduced from the bench. But he's one of those players, isn't he, dude? He's like Craig Bellamy. I remember watching teams that Craig Bellamy was in before he joined West Ham. And I used to hate Craig Bellamy. I used to be like, he's a bastard. He's horrible. He's a right little shit. Do you know what I mean? And then he turned up in a carrot and blue shirt, and I loved him. I thought he was brilliant. He's one of those players.
Savage. Who's the other? Joey Barton.
Yes.
Hey, listen, I love Hosek. Behave yourself, Trudge. I'd be all over that shit. Barton, Savage, Bellamy, Costa. Who's the other one? Well, we ended up with a couple because we ended up with Ruddock playing for us, didn't we? The big old bastard. Loved him though. But yeah, it's a concern, Rob. It's a concern.
Don't touch it.
Oh, right, okay.
Sweet.
And that's the forms of both of the teams there. It's again, there's not really too much. I mean, you don't look at either one of us, Wolves or us, and go, there's a team there that are in much, much better form over the other. This is 2 poor teams. And when I say poor, let me rewind a bit. I don't believe we're a poor team. I don't believe Wolves are a poor team in terms of their personnel they have available to them if everyone's fit and available and all the rest of it. They're not. But they're in two teams that are in poor recent form for whatever reason, whether it's due to injuries, whether it's due to the players or the managers lost the dressing room, whatever it may be, in whatever circumstance, we are 2 teams in poor form, and we need to turn it around, and we need to turn it around quick, ladies and gentlemen. There's no time. We can't hang about.
So I'm being shouted at from my door. Right. Sorry.
And that is our record, our historical record, ladies and gentlemen. in all competitions, in all matches versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. We have the edge there, Duke. We've that's something to cling on to. I mean, we've been in good recent form against them. Oh, you're still on mute, mate.
So I was on mute because I had someone shouting at me through the front door. It's all right. Fucking Jesus Christ. I mean, listen, it doesn't matter, Rob. I've said this numerous times with this stat. It doesn't matter. The pair of us right now are up shit creek. Both teams, West Ham and Wolves, up shit creek. The paddles are snapped, and right now they're hanging on by a thread. We're not up shit creek without a paddle yet, but the paddles are broken. Yeah, it's true, Trudge. It was. And at the moment, they're kind of trying to use a broken paddle.
Yep.
If we can get our paddle out of the water and repair it, we'll be all right. The same can be said for Wolves. I'm just very concerned that our last 38 games have only produced 34 points, which is...
It is a concern.
I think it's 0.68 points, pardon me, per game. It's not good enough. It's relegation form. It's 2 wins in 14. It's 9 defeats in 14. It's now time for a change. And by that I mean formation. By that I mean personnel. By that I mean tactically. If we don't get it today, I do have a feeling, if we lose today, you and I will be discussing managerial replacements in the next day or two.
Very possible that might be a topic we cover. I think it's inevitable. And even if you are a David Moyes advocate, I think that if you take a step back and look at the cold, hard facts, our form, our results this season, our results at the back end of last season, our results stretching back to the turn of the year, I think even the most ardent fan, the most ardent advocate of David Moyes, confronted with that weight of evidence, would struggle to really make a case to say, no, he should still be our manager. I think that even the biggest diehard David Moyes fan, Mrs. Moyes, would probably look at it and go, yeah, you've probably got a point.
Listen, if the last 15 games had come across one season, if there'd been this season, he would have been sacked already. I have no doubt on that, Rob. We would have had him replaced already, because that's 9 defeats in 15 games. If that had been this season, if that had all been in one season, he would have gone. I mean, people can say, give him time. Well, how much time do you want to give him? How much time do you want to give these players to settle? How much? What position do you want to put us in before we actually start playing as a team and start playing as a unit and start getting the points? That we're so far adrift that 16th is the best we're going to finish. At what point do we consider that this is okay? I, for one, am a Moyes advocate. I don't want David Moyes to leave. I just want him to see the error of his ways and make some changes. He's the best manager we've had, probably, in my opinion, since Lyle. We've discussed this. Other people have disagreed. They reckon that,
I'd say it's between him and Harry.
Whatever. And fair play. But with regards to positional finishes and European football, for me, it's David Moyes. Now, that's my opinion. Everyone else is entitled to their own, and I will be willing to listen to others' opinions. I've got no problem with that. Just don't come at me telling me I'm wrong. Have a basis behind it, and we'll have a conversation. I want Moyes to understand, he's getting it wrong. Changing formation. Tommy said 4-4-3-3. You've said 4-3-3. Yep. I've gone 4-1-3-2, which essentially is close to 4-4-2 if you want. It needs to be changed. And for him to succeed, it needs to change. What I am happy to see is that we do have Konstantin Hatzidakis.
Your mate.
Is assistant today. I love him. He's great. I don't know why, just his name.
There you go. Well, we'll get the Forge Fun's House of 5 fascinating football factoids out of the way, shall we?
Easy for you to say when you've not had a drink.
Yeah. Well, we have won 3 of our last 4 Premier League games against them, with 1 defeat in there. I did show it on the earlier slide. Having won just 2 of our first 8 against them in the competition before this, with 1 draw and 5 defeats. Interesting. Factoid number 2. Wolves have kept a clean sheet in 5 of their last 8 Premier League games against West Ham, though they have lost each time they've conceded in this run. Factoid number 3. We are winless in our last 6 Premier League home games, drew 3, lost 3, last having a longer run between August 2002 and January 2003, which was a 12-game sequence. Wolves are without a win on the road in the Premier League in each of their last 7 games, with 2 draws and 5 defeats. They haven't gone 8 such games without a victory since August 2018, with 3 draws and 5 defeats, with 7 of those games taking place in 2011-2012. However, that run was ended with a 1-0 win over. That's the kicker. It was us.
That's
the
old West Ham knowing it, Rob.
Had to
that's
be.
Exactly as you said before. The goalkeeper hasn't scored in 300 games, and we rock up, and he's got his first goal in 6 years. It's just what we do.
Fantastic. And the 5th and final factoid is that we and Wolves are the joint lowest scorers in the Premier League this season. Shock horror, who'd have thought it? With both sides netting 3 goals in our 7 games so far. Indeed, we are the only side in the competition yet to score in the first half of games. So I'm not necessarily expecting that's going to change today, but I live in hope. While Wolves are the only team without a goal after half-time. 0-0 draw, anyone?
Oh, don't do that, Rob. I'm going today. It can't be a fucking 0-0 draw. Come on, behave.
Well, it wouldn't shock
It's Grace's birthday present. Let's not do this. Let's not do it.
No, absolutely not.
Do it.
Yeah. Anyway. How has that little shit got into the system? I've had enough of this. He's popped up on a few of our videos lately, Duke. Not happy with this. What's he playing at?
I want to know. I want to know what his end game is. It's it worries me, Rob. Is this like a forced takeover? What's going on? I want to know.
I don't know.
If I get my hands on him, I'm going to wring his fucking neck.
I've had some guests in lately on Mount Rushmore, and he's managed to weave his way into the streams on YouTube. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how he's got the access codes or anything like that, but the little sod is causing all sorts of chaos with our guests. And the thing is, it's like these are good friends of the channel, and it's like I've then got to go back to and apologize. I've got to send flowers to their wives because they've upset the wives. It's just ridiculous. I'm seriously, it's not on. And I tell you what, if you're watching this, Zippy, right? If you're watching this, we're on to you. We're on to you. So always be looking over your back, sunshine, because I tell you what, when we catch up to you, we're ironing you out. We're zipping you up, and you're in all sorts of trouble. And any work that you think you're going to get down the track, ex Rainbow Star Zippy's going to do an opening of a bookshop or something. Your days are numbered, mate. Numbered, I'm telling you.
All right, anyway. Rob.
No, I've had enough of him. He'll end up going to that Lewisham Nick. I'm telling you now. That largest police station in Europe, he's going there.
Taxi,
and I'll
for
probably
Zippy?
go there as well because I'll be
ambulance for Zippy.
Charge. Yeah, best place to put him.
All right, Rob, calm down.
I've had enough.
He was a hero of my childhood. Calm down.
Yeah, no, but I work bloody hard on these streams. I don't do this to have that little sod jumping up and.
We'll figure it out. You're going to give yourself like a heart attack or something.
Not happy.
It's the last thing you need over a muppet.
No, I'm not. You say that.
It's-
You say that. How would you
it's-
like it if he nicked something of yours?
Listen, that little
How would
fucker
you
turns
like it
up
if
and
he
nicks
nicked something
anything
of
of
yours?
mine. We're going to be. Listen, we got to be. I'd smash a little fucker. I'll bury him.
Well, there you go.
Do you
There
know
you go.
what, Joe? You're right. Joe just said it. I'll get me bungle out, Rob.
Really?
I'll smash him with my bungle.
Steady, Trodge. I hope that the missus doesn't watch this back. That comment will get me in all sorts of trouble. I think it will get me in all sorts of trouble. That's an interesting
I didn't
theory,
even
Tom.
pick up
I'll
on
tell you
that.
what, I've not. He's been very quiet. He's been
My
very
bungle
quiet.
is not masterminding it.
Maybe. But I don't blame Bungle, because I tell you what, Zippy was always a little bit of a wild card, wasn't he? He wouldn't listen to Jeffrey. I reckon that he's acting solo. He's going solo. You know, he's behind enemy lines, and I tell you what, he's running to the wrong people this time. Running to the wrong people. Score predictions, Duke. And you guys in the live chat, give us your score predictions.
I am going to go.
Difficult one, isn't it?
Joe has just hollered at me 1-0 from the other side of the pub, and she lets
who?
Chloe in. West Ham.
Oh,
I am actually going to go. I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1. I am going to. I'm confident. If he changes formation, if he changes the setup, I think we'll see something different. And I think 3-1 West Ham.
Okay, I'm going to go 1-0. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's not particularly great to watch. I think it will be quite look. There's an awful lot riding on this for both teams, because I think that both teams know. Especially, I mean, I think that both teams would sort of be okay with a draw, because neither team's gained or lost ground on the other. Do you know what I mean? So I think that would probably be an acceptable result for both teams. I don't think it's a great result, but I think it would be seen as a par score. If there's one team that comes out of this the wrong side of it, then I do think that their manager is on borrowed time. I hope it's not David Moyes, but if it is, then he's only got himself to blame at the end of the day. You know, that's the harsh reality of Premier League football. It's an unforgiving league, and you're judged by results. And the results of his charges haven't been good enough. Now, I know that you've got to blame the players. You have to apportion responsibility to the players in that circumstance. But these are players that when he walked through the door, he managed to up their effort levels to get us away from relegation, to get us a 6th place, a 7th place, to get us a European semi-final. He's got their work rate up, and now all those stats are way, way, way down. And you've got to ask the question, why?
I mean, it's difficult, mate. As we've said, are they playing? Are they playing for the team? Are they playing for the manager? Are they playing for themselves? Are they just not playing? I'm having great difficulty in trying to figure out why or what or when. You know, it's the players need to now stand up and be counted for. Yep. David Moyes needs to make himself stand up and be counted as well. You know, so let's. Listen, as I can't remember who said it there. Yeah, Tommy and Trodge have said there about, you know, score predictions and not being able to pick it, not being able to, you know it without seeing the teams or whatever. Listen, if I see the team that we've put out, that I put out, and what I said there, I'll be confident of a 3-1 win. If I see the team that you put out, I'll be confident of a 2-1, a 3-1 win. If we see the same old, then I can't see us winning at all. So
no.
Let's see what happens, shall we?
Yeah. Well, you're going to be going there as will I, Duke. So they better entertain us.
We will be. We will be there. I'll be leaving here.
Did you get anyone's tickets, or did you?
I bought tickets.
Okay, I didn't. Where are you sitting? Do you know?
A little bit further forward from you. Got 203 road
Oh, great.
69, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, not too far from where you are.
What time do you reckon you're getting there, mate?
53. It just depends on obviously how busy I am for this game. The Tottenham game. If the pub's busy, I'm going to be sticking around a bit to give a hand. If it's not busy at all, I'll probably be leaving here between 1:30 and 2:00, maybe 1:00, dependent on.
Okay. I might even jump on the. I don't know. I'm in two minds as to whether to maybe drive to your neck of the woods and then jump on the DLR as well, because I wasn't sure if the DLR was running or not.
Yeah.
So, but I'll keep you posted.
All right,
Anyway.
no worries.
Anyway, guys, those of you watching, thanks, and very sorry for that little interlude that jumped up a little while ago. But as I say, an apologies for me getting a bit worked up over it. But I don't like our work being sort of like
Hey, listen,
distracted.
I'm on your side with that one, and if we get hold of him, I will rip his stuffing out. But we'll leave it there.
Yeah, zip him up permanently. Anyway, please don't
Exactly.
forget to like, comment on, and share the stream to your social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Make sure you hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. And as always, guys, we thank you very much indeed for your support in this matter. Duke, what are we, my friend?
Absolutely fucking mediocre.
Yeah, the only way is up then, isn't it? Come on, you
Without a doubt.
Irons.